Today, I'm excited to be catching up with my good friend Chai. For a long time, Chai was known as the godfather or the glue of this Adelaide startup ecosystem. Up until he decided to become a very private man, I don't see him out and about very often these days. Today, I'm looking at digging into Shai's story to talk up to see how to learn lessons about building an ecosystem, building a SaaS product, and maybe we'll get a take of some of the ideas he's kicking around at the moment, and what he would be doing if he wasn't growing a SaaS business. So, welcome to the pod, Shai.
Thanks, John. Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have fun today. Um, I met you around, give or take, about 13 years ago, 2012,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Startup Weekend,
yeah,
on the very first Startup Weekend in Adelaide.
yeah.
And I think what I've always admired about you is you say you're going to do something and then you do it. So I remember before Startup Weekend,
Mm,
we didn't have a technology focused co-working space.
yeah.
We didn't really have a startup ecosystem in Adelaide
Mm,
up until then. And you kind of say after Startup Adelaide, you're like the team you had, you guys started to start the first co-working space. I think we're gonna kick off from there in
mm.
terms of what it was like for you in the early days to almost build the ecosystem from scratch. What is the biggest motivation to sort of go down the path of like building? Well, I mean, we're gonna dive into like how you end up deciding the product, but
Mm-hmm.
what was the biggest motivation from the get go to sort of start the ecosystem in Adelaide?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think, everyone needs a new start in life.
Yeah.
And at that stage of my life, there were a lot of personal, family related issue that sort of brightened my view of the world. So when I heard about Startup Weekend, I thought, let's do something with my life because previously, like my background is a software engineer. I've
Yeah.
been working since I finished uni, always in coding
Mm.
and building products and anything from like CRM to building system for ISPs, and so that was my passion. But when I heard about Startup Weekend and met the community, I thought, wow, I didn't know these people exist before, right? Like all these uh, motivated people with bright ideas
Yeah.
and want to make a difference.
Yeah.
Like I pitch an idea and found found a team and we work on that, and it wasn't a great idea, but it was an idea, right? After that, we were looking for a space to work in.
Yeah.
Really, we've got an idea, we think we can do something with it, but now what, right?
Yeah.
There were no co-working spaces. I had no idea how to get help, right? Um, I had a you know sort of business degree,
Mm.
but you're going to school, you only learn so much. Not the practical stuff. You learn theories of marketing,
Yeah.
writing business plan and whatnot. But yeah, diving into running your own business is like you got nothing. You're like you've got no money,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no connections,
Yeah.
no place to work. So I thought, how do I start a business when I don't have anything? And I at that stage of my life, I said, yeah, I need to make a drastic change. Um, you know, because was you know nobody getting younger, right? You
Yeah.
gotta make a difference. So I said, let's go all in and work out how to grow my business, build an ecosystem around me.
Yeah.
You need the support network. It's not what you know. Like I said, it's not what you know. It's like who you know,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty much.
So being I consider myself a problem solver.
Mm.
So if I see a problem and I have to work on a solution for it, I can't just sit and wait for someone to solve it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when I decided, let's get people together and start building this ecosystem around us.
Yeah.
So I decided just do what I can to start building a business.
Yeah.
In we had family business before,
Yeah.
like doing small scale things, but it wasn't you know something that is of mine. So always been interested in business, started my business. So after joining Startup Weekend, that's the first time I decided
Yeah.
I want to get into business full time.
One thing I was very fascinated with you at the early stage is the gap between we've come from Startup Weekend to you starting the first co-working space, Majoran. It was a fairly small gap of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up until then, had you had any experience in dealing with commercial leasing or doing that kind of stuff? Because I think what happens is a lot of people say, I want to do something, I want to do something. And I will probably be one of those people who says, I want to.
Yeah.
But then the gap between I want to execution, because I think during those early days, one thing I used to admire about you is you used to do say, oh, I'm gonna do something, and then before you realize a few months later, it's done. It's like,
I mean, like I said, we had a family business and also been working in small businesses for a while. So I've learned about businesses. Right? I learned to manage team. I learned, how to, do customer support. I learned how to do system maintenance, administration. All the business skill I learned are from my working life. I spent previous to starting that, I spent 7 years in tech companies. I know about business, but I just haven't had the involvement in starting from the beginning. So that's the background there.
No, that was very fascinating. So you start Majoran, which is the first co-working space. Because it's very funny how I ended up joining Majoran. Around 2012, I was actually going to move to America. And it was at the height of Facebook, all these startup big,
almost a tech boom.
It was a tech boom. It was one of the first few tech booms around that time. And my wife and I had gone to America. We were gonna explore, and I was gonna move to America. But there's also a part of me that wanted to sort of come. Didn't want to go, and I was kind of like, I was like, give me a sign, give me a reason not to.
What? It's not different to me. I was always considering like moving to Melbourne or Sydney for bigger city, because there wasn't anything to do in LA besides the nice beaches and
Because I think before then, every time we wanted to do something, we would have to go outside of Adelaide. And then it's not until you message me and saying, hey, I'm starting a co-working space. I'm looking for a few initial members. And I'm like, that's it. That's my sign. That's my sign to go back to Adelaide and not move to America. So talk to me about the early days of trying to build an ecosystem. What are some of the biggest challenges you're facing? Because I think it's very important for people to learn what it's like to build a community around their idea or their vision. Right now, a lot of people are lucky. There's lots and lots of things happening. A lot of these things are more mature. But 13 years ago, it was a lot more harder. What are some of the challenges you found about building a community around what you're trying to do?
Well, I mean, like in hindsight, it was pretty easy. But back then, because I didn't know what I was doing, right? So the lucky part for us when we started Majoran was that there was a real need there. Right. There's people wanting, like the Startup Weekend, bring all these people together, wanting to start business, but they've got nowhere to go. And, there's no place to meet. There's no events happening. So we just started in the right time. Pretty much, we solve a real need. And there's already customers lining up to join us. So, like I said, when pretty much everyone we talk to who need a place come to us when we said we're going to start a co-working space. So being, it wasn't funded, right? So me, Michael and Will, we just put a bit of money together and start leasing a space and just bring people in. And look, like with the money we put in, it wasn't enough and anything. We've got supported from Adelaide City Council, giving us some free furnitures.
Oh, that's good.
Like our landlord back then helped us with some rent as well.
Okay.
So we slowly we're just getting people together who see the vision that we were trying to do, and that's how we started.
Yeah, I remember when you started when you moved to the second office in
Yeah,
the
Griffith Street.
Majoran.
Yeah.
The landlord was a
Yeah.
very interesting guy.
Yeah. No, he's a great guy, to be honest.
He's a good guy.
He's give us free range on what we want to do. He's like, okay, you do it.
Yeah.
It was we were lucky to meet our landlord by then. I don't want to name him, but
Yeah.
he's helped us a lot. Yeah.
It was a great guy, but he also had that the mafia vibe. Is like it's like I look after you, but you don't cross me. Like I remember going to his office. I didn't go to his office, but like every time you go to his office, it was this big, nice office with nothing on the desk, with nothing on the table. Like it's like wow, that's as old school as it gets.
Yeah.
So you always came up for this guy. Oh yeah, don't mess around with him. But he's good to you, but
Yeah, people always ask me like, how you find a space. It's just simple. Just go on to one of the real estate website and and just talking to as many landlords like I can to try and get the best deal we can.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're starting, you pretty much got no shame, right? Like you got to back and if you have to steal some and just get it happening. So that's my mentality is like, just don't let people tell you what you can't do because everyone there, especially when you do something for a greater good, there's always people who want to help out, and we were very lucky when we started. Like I said, that there's so many people in Adelaide who wanted to help us. I mean, obviously we're restricted by we had no credibility. Like when we started, like Chai's, like no one know who I was. No one know who Michael was, and then we just out there and just hitting ground, just making phone calls and emailing people and about our ideas and about what we want to do, and just one person to the next was trying to get that support to build the community.
That's awesome. So fast forward, you get the Majoran Distillery co-working space going. The second part of your story that was really fascinating is I remember back then we didn't have a lot of we didn't have a lot of big startup events. So we didn't have like startup conferences and stuff like that. So I remember us traveling as a group of people down to I think it was Sydney. Sydstart. Yeah. And then it's a good event. We learned a lot. And then I remember you saying, "Oh yeah, we should have something like this in Adelaide."
Yeah.
And then boom, then before you realize the first South Start event is happening. Do you want to just walk around in terms of like how the process of kind of putting all that together, especially once again, from idea to eventual launch, the gap was not too bad because we went to like this year's Seed Start, and then you said next year we're gonna do it, and then we actually done it, and not only that, I mean you managed to get the premiere and a whole bunch of people coming down. Walk me down how you got around putting that together and some of the challenges and stuff like that you had to go through the process, or some of the challenges and lessons in the process.
Like I'm always I have always been interested in running events and sort of building a community, getting people together. I ran small event previously, not to that scale. I ran 100 people event. They're very small community event type event. Where you have to deal with getting sponsors and things like that. So I've used my knowledge from that to try and get people together. So when we decided to start the first South Start conference, we did have our first community meeting from Majoran members and see what their thoughts are, and then I think we came up with the name together in the group when we have our meeting, and from then on, we build a team, right? And we just went out and trying to get support. With with any event, you got to know that people's gonna turn up first before. And my belief back then, without actually having done a lot of research whether people are gonna turn up, because I saw start you've got probably 150 people.
Yeah.
You would say that first start.
Yeah.
First startup weekend event.
Yeah.
So I see that there must be other people out there who are interested in startup, and so we need to build a community. So the only way to build a community is to get people together, right? And an event of some sort, a bigger one that will help amplify the voices, right? So we got a team together. We went out and tried to get sponsors, get a venue, and just spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads, trying to get people to come to events.
Yeah.
So that was the hard part. The hardest part was not organizing it. The hardest part in any events always getting people to come to your events.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were lucky to work with some great marketers to promote the event.
Yeah.
And it's like having the premiers. Jay Weatherall back then turned up was a great booth for us, and that come from us able to connect with like sponsors like News Corp back then as well.
Oh, is it the one that got you the premiere, or how did you get Jay Weatherall to show up?
I think from memory, I think they approached us.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we were making a bit of noise. And then we invited him to Majoran.
Gotcha.
He came for a visit, and I said, "Look, we're running a conference soon. Would you like to get some money?" In that specific term, right? I said, "Yeah, great." I remember he said not exact quote, but he said if you want something, you have to ask. So, this is up there. Ask him anyway. He said, you gotta ask. If you don't ask, you don't get it. So that's how I approached the rest of my Majoran and community building career. So anything I need, I approach that person and I ask for help.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no shame. What's the worst people can say?
They'll just say no.
No. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how we approach things, and how I approach things, just talk to these people as I could, and getting support to build community. Because I wasn't doing for me.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously there's ulterior motive there for me. I want to build a profile, right? I want to meet people. I want to connect with people. I want to learn from people, and all these things that I was doing back then it benefits me. But if you I believe in if you help people, then it will just naturally people will help you, back. So that's how I approach things.
Yeah. What are some of the lessons you learned, or maybe some of the challenges and lessons you learned through the process of putting together SouthStart?
I think the biggest issue we had was
consequent. It doesn't have to be the first one. It could be even a different one, because you run the event a few more times before you eventually
pass it on.
Pass it on to the next group.
I think the stress from the challenge is the stress from running an event. Right. Because you organize, you put in place, the venues, the speakers, and everything else, the logistic of it.
Yeah.
But to get people to come was the biggest hurdle, because you have to educate the market about your product, right? Because SaaStart was new, and no one hears about it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you go out there and say, "Oh, there's a tech conference called SaaStart, everyone come." It's like people want to know what is in it for them, what will they learn, what will what value they're getting from it.
Yeah.
So for us, we need to educate the market. Like with everything new, you gotta,
You get educated.
unless you open up a new restaurant, something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
selling whatever food you want, and
Yeah.
people know about your food. But
Yeah.
having a completely new product, putting out in the market, challenge always getting customers. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about scale,
Yeah.
growth. It's
Yeah.
always getting your customers to know about your product. So that's
Yeah.
the biggest challenge for
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
because we have limited resource. Like we don't have money to spend on, a lot of money spent on Facebook ads or anything like that, right? So our community, we get attendance through community, through partners who, sponsors, and then we offer some ticket in exchange for the sponsorship money. And yeah, grow from there. But the biggest challenge would say getting people to come.
Getting people to come. I want to switch gears a little bit and go to your business, TeamGo, a wonderful product for visitor management. Before you arrived at TeamGo, you had a crack from moving from running an agency, to building a partnership, to testing out trying out different products, to eventually getting down to TeamGo and then focusing on that. And you've done that for almost 10 years, I think. Almost 10 years.
More than 10 years now. I think it's 2013 we started.
TeamGo.
Yeah, we started in 2013. Yeah. Time flies, yeah.
Oh my God, Chai.
Yeah.
Are we getting older or wiser? You are looking more like a silver fox.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a full-time gig when we started.
Yeah.
Because like I was running Majoran's SaaS start back then.
Yeah.
I had Pay Hero, another startup I was doing as well, and also doing some agency work with Steve. We were building software for like an agency called Firo. We built software for startup back then as well. So there's like a lot of things in the work at one time.
Yeah.
Before we decide to put full focus on to TeamGo. I mean, the reason for that being, I found that everyone keeps saying you have to focus.
Yes.
You talk to any potential investors or anybody. So we were planning to raise some money for TeamGo.
Yeah.
And for us to do that, we need to be able to focus. Put full focus into it. So we decided to sort of pass on SaaS start, and then we sold Pay Hero. And also Majoran was being phased out because, as you know, there were other initiative being offered out there. So we didn't want, we felt that we've done our job in building the community. Like I said, we start Majoran because there's a need for it. And now that there are other private parties and government want to involve in doing that. So like our job is done. We consider, we accomplished our mission.
Yeah. There was nothing, you built some sort of ecosystem and other people have started to come in and play with it. One thing I'm going to ask you is, just going back to the question of focus, how was it like deciding to focus and drop off the agency and things, all this like that, so you can focus to TeamGo? Because a lot of software products, you have to get to a point in time where you have some sort of a critical mass, whereby you've got enough people subscribing to the software, enough people using it to a point in time whereby the revenue coming from it is probably enough to either replace all the other things you're doing. Or was it, or you guys like, okay, we see the future in this, we're just going to go hard on it, whether or not the money has come in? Did you have to wait until the income from TeamGo started to sort of like cover the other cost, or was it a case of like, nah, we need to burn our boats and ship? I guess what I'm trying to do is, there's going to be someone listening to this podcast that is juggling up a couple of ideas and throwing a few things, thinking, I want to go in, I really want to focus, I want to go in on something. But that means letting go of these are the things that potentially look that. And then we know we need to focus, but I want to try and understand that
Yeah,
the mindset that went into that part.
yeah,
Mm.
sure. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an easy thing to decide
Mm.
to focus on something because, like, when you have many things going on, you're doing them because you enjoy doing them, right?
Yeah.
And I think there was a time where we say, look, what we're doing with various different businesses is not work. It's not really working.
Mm.
Like, it's not giving us the return that we want to achieve, right? Um, I don't believe in taking crazy risks,
Mm.
but
Mm.
looking back,
Yeah.
doing 4 business at one time
That was a risk.
is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's just like I don't. Beside Elon, I don't think anyone else was doing 4 business. I'm not comparing myself to Elon, but
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying if I have $1 billion,
Yes. Yeah.
I probably could do it. But like for a startup with very very limited resource and you know 2 hands, trying to do 4 business at
Yeah.
one time is
Yeah.
not ideal.
Yeah.
And I was spending I don't know up to 2 o'clock in the morning every day.
Damn.
I had my wife just had to give birth to my daughter
Yeah.
as well. So we want to be able to grow TeamGo sustainably.
Yeah.
Hence, you have to forego something, right? Luckily, we were able to find partners to take over those other projects like SaaS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel doing a great job with that. And yeah, pass on Payera to our acquirer.
Mm.
So that gave us some leeway and resources to keep pushing TeamGo. And TeamGo at that stage was doing pretty well,
Okay.
right? It was sustainable.
Okay.
We were profitable.
Okay.
That was 2007, 2018. So yeah, I mean, you can't just focus on one thing if whatever you're letting go want to cut off your funding, right? You got to
Yes.
be able to
Yeah.
sustain yourself before
Yes.
you focus. And when you're early, like back then, because I had limited amount of time to. People say to start a business you need 18 months of runway,
Mm.
and I was reaching my runway, right? I was like, if I keep doing many, I've got to get an idea to work within that 18 months. So throwing up 4 different ideas in one go,
Mm.
you're casting a wider net, right? So once we've worked out that we've got a customer, we've got a product. So in a sense, product market fit as they call it. Then we decided to go all in with TeamGo.
How was it like? How did you manage to get those initial customers to get some sort of momentum on the product?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think back in 2013, 2016,
Mm.
when we started, there weren't many competitors out there. So getting people to replace a paper book was easy.
Yeah.
So we spent a bit of money on advertising.
Yeah.
Mainly AdWords. I think our first customers wasn't even from Australia. I think I think it was South Africa or something like that.
Oh wow.
So
Okay. That's solid.
yeah, for us to get the first customers purely online, put money on AdWords and get people to sign up. We didn't have to do any work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, till this day, we don't spend a lot of time on, direct sales or anything like that. So I still believe online software business like us,
Yeah.
ways to get customers through online channels.
How has the growth been over the years? Has it been gradual? Because you've had the option of going down the path of either get funding and grow these things. Are you still bootstrap or maybe some seed?
Oh yeah, we've got an investor,
Yeah.
but technically we are a bootstrap
Yeah. Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you've had both options of, yeah, either going you're keeping a bootstrap, or maybe just have a smaller investor
Mhm.
versus let's get some VC funding or
Yeah,
some sort of like raise some sort of
yeah.
funding and blow this thing up. What's been the decision behind growing it the way you've grown it
Mhm.
step by step over the years
Mhm.
versus just get the money and put gasoline
Yeah.
and blow the thing up?
Yeah, I think all those things are personal decision.
Yeah.
I think they're not really related to a business
Mm,
or an
mm,
industry or anything like that. I think deciding between a bootstrap and getting investment is
mm.
purely personal decision.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
we decided to. Well, I mean, initially we went out and tried to get funding,
Okay.
um, and through that process, we discovered that that's not for us.
Okay.
So we said, look, we are already profitable.
What made you decide that the venture-backed funding model is not for you versus just let's keep going with what you're doing?
Look, like
Mm.
for me personally, I never owe anyone money.
Okay.
Right?
You don't want to own
I
versus
don't want to. I don't want to. I don't like. I go into the business
yeah.
because I want to be my own boss. Right?
Yes.
I want to have full control of what I'm doing. I want to make my own decisions,
Yeah.
and you know, I don't want to be, you know, having someone else telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Look, like, I mean, I'm a bit wiser now. I mean, like things, you know, it's how you interact with people. But during that time, like I feel like I could do this without getting the funding
Mm.
um, to grow.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's the path we took. You know, so one could say, yeah, you should have tried harder and go and get funding and grow and scale. But
Yeah.
like it wasn't something that I mean like I said, business to me is um, building a business that how you want to build and how you want to live your life. I mean, I'm not there to build a lifestyle business,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying that I'm there to build a business and just sit, down at the beach. And, I'm very motivated in the
Yeah.
sense because like I've been doing a lot of stuff. I'm no not afraid of hard work, but having the ability to do your own things.
Yes.
That what inspires me to be in business. Um, yeah, so that's why we chosen to do bootstrapping.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of one of those things whereby you almost need to decide the kind of business you want to have
Yeah, yeah,
and not just do it for the sake of this is what happens with startups. If you want to grow a
yeah,
startup, you gotta get VC. Like, because I kind of feel like sometimes all these, let's go raise funding and
yeah,
blow this thing up. It's also glamorized
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
You are diluted. I mean,
Look, you open any text, publications, and all the news you read. Who X company raised X amount of money, right?
yeah,
They don't this they don't talk about, you know, the customers you receive,
mm,
the new customer you sign up,
yeah,
100K customer you sign up.
mm,
But if you get 100K funding, you get, you know, front page or almost
yeah,
in any
yeah,
tech or startup publication. So, it is, I agree, it's getting glamorized
yeah,
quite a
yeah.
bit. And for, you talk to founders who, went out there and raised money, it's a hard slog, right?
Mm,
It's not easy,
mm,
and it's almost, I mean, from our experience, I think getting customers
yeah.
is easier than finding an investor. A lot easier. I mean, your customers is your investor, right?
Yeah,
That's
pretty
that,
much,
that's how we
pretty
how
much.
we approach it, and we build product for TeamGo for our customers, and
Yeah,
anything we built, what the customers have requested,
yeah.
right? So we don't just go build something because we think it's cool.
Mm,
We've got a long list of feature requests that we work through over the years.
yeah,
So they are our investors. We've got to keep them happy. Like I said, being an own boss and running a company without investors and not having to report to anyone.
yeah.
I mean, look, obviously you have to report to your customers. Right? Your customer is your boss,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
we do what what they ask.
yeah.
So, but the ability to control how that process, how to build a product, how to run the company, how to m- operate things. That's what I'm into.
So that having that autonomy to decide
Yeah,
pretty much the destiny of your business and how
yeah,
you run it on a day-to-day basis.
yeah,
That's been okay. That makes a lot of sense. One thing I've found fascinating is you've been is and that's something a lot of people struggle is one is finding a co-founder that they're aligned with.
yeah.
And you and Steve have been together for now for because now at some point in time it become
Yeah.
you know
Over a decade, just put that way.
I
Yeah.
mean you guys have been together for for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean that's longer than most marriages.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you okay, obviously I know you found each other through
Mm,
Majoran
mm,
and everyone had their own businesses and stuff like that.
mm.
um how have you managed to keep this relationship, this marriage
Yeah.
going through the years?
Yeah.
Because you've got to decide a lot. There's a lot of different directions of
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is it something? I guess what I'm trying to look is some insights in terms of like what is managed to keep to get the co-founder relationship working for such a long time,
Yeah.
and what are some of the things that you decided as what was a tipping point to say, okay, I think I like this guy. I think we can do something with him.
Yeah.
And then what has managed to help you keep stay this long?
I think, Steve and I got along together
Yeah,
very well.
yeah,
It's,
from the
we've
get-go.
been partners for a long time.
Yeah,
I think what makes us like there's a good side to and bad side about Steve and I being partners.
yeah,
Obviously, we two alike,
yeah.
right? We a little bit introvert,
Okay.
but we're not afraid of going out there and talking to people. But we're not, we're not the loudest. Put it that way, right? Like I've saw these videos on social media the other day, and
Mm.
they asked an old couple, like, I say, how long you been together? It's what 60 years, something like that, right? And they said, what's the secret?
Yeah.
And the guy answered, we don't live together, right? So that's pretty much Steve and I. What was Steve and I is like we don't hang out, like we
Yeah.
don't go out to dinner, we don't have fishing trip together. I love
Yeah.
fishing.
Yeah.
We don't go out camping together. We don't do anything together beside work.
Okay.
Right? We don't have that kind of relationship. But when we work, we trust each other. We agree and disagree, and we work things through.
Yeah.
But I mean that works for us because we don't have
Mm.
to deal with other personal stuff that
Mm.
might cause a burden to our relationship, right? It's not because we decide to be like that.
Yeah.
It just naturally is like that. No, we didn't say, hey Steve, like have a partnership and then you do your own thing and I do my own thing in my personal life. It just happened to be like that,
Yeah.
right? We didn't plan to be like that. So yeah, for some reason it's just that, and we share some interests.
Yeah.
Our value are aligned and
Uh-huh.
whatnot, but you it just happened that we don't spend time together in our
Okay.
personal
Okay.
time. So
Okay.
because we
Okay.
see each other, all day
Yeah.
at work anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
think having a partner that understand you and
Yeah.
also value your input to the business,
Yeah.
that what make it works. And I don't think having partners that go out on a boat, getting drunk together
Yeah.
is my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
want to get along with people in that way. I mean, I'm not a drinker in the first place,
Yeah.
so like everyone different, isn't it? So
That
yeah,
makes a lot of sense. That makes a
yeah,
lot of sense. It's kind of like finding what is the best relationship dynamic and not having to conform to what you expect that this is what people should be doing. We're supposed to
yeah,
be doing this.
yeah,
So it's kind of like you guys have always defined, you live by your own terms. You define, you grow the business by your own time.
mm,
You don't have a lot of external pressure.
yeah,
You don't feel like you need to relate in a certain way, like the way
yeah,
co-founders are supposed to relate.
yeah,
You just do what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the understanding is important.
of
It's just
course.
like, even a lot of stuff, understanding is not, it's
Mm,
not what you say, but what
mm,
you don't say as well, right? Like a lot of things, um, a lot of time, communication is not through speech, it's through your action,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's how we approach things.
Uh, what are some of the challenges you're finding in your business at this stage in the game? You've been running the business now for, wow, geez, 2013. So that's coming down to
Mm-hmm.
about 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What are some of the challenges you're finding at this stage of the game?
Oh, like challenges every day, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I didn't plan to be, like, no one expect our business to last this long, right?
Yeah.
People, when we started, people say, oh, it takes um, 5 to 7 years
Yeah.
for a business to be successful,
Yeah.
right? You have to, first of all, you have to survive the first 24 months, right? If you survive the first 2 years,
Yeah.
then it's going, and then you're not going to be able to exit or be profitable until like 5, 7 years. 7 year exit. I mean, that's from an investor point of view as well. Um, but like challenge will always be growth, right?
Yeah.
With every business, our industry is matured, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, like I still see a lot of opportunities in the market because our product goes into like buildings and reception warehouse, factories,
Mm,
um, aged care facilities,
mm,
and things like that. Um, so, I still walk into those facilities and there's nothing in the front desk, right? So for every one of those, there's an opportunity for us to pitch our product there, right? So
mm,
there's still a lot of opportunity there,
mm,
but the challenge has always been um, scaling the business
mm.
to without having to get a massive amount of funding, right?
Okay.
Being a bootstrap business, we have limited amount of because we grow from our revenue, so
Yeah.
we reinvest our revenue back
Mm,
and profit back
mm.
into the business. So and look, it's the challenge always been in like putting X amount of money and expecting X amount of return.
Yes.
We can put any money we want,
Mm.
but if the return doesn't work out, that's that's a massive risk to take, right? And we seem to go through cycles every couple of years of like, let's try something new,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
right? That's the challenge for any small business like us,
Mm, mm,
and startup business as well.
mm.
Because you have limited resource, you always have to test
Yes.
have to run a test,
Yes.
and you've got to spend enough money to get the result so you can analyze it. It's not like you spend $50 on Facebook ads and
Mm.
you know to see what works on it. It doesn't have
Yeah.
Facebook. The Facebook algorithm need to be trained and need to
Yeah.
find your audience, and
Yeah.
all those uh, scenarios has to happen. So you got to spend a lot of money before you find out
Yeah.
if it works or doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, marketing, scaling, and growing business is always a challenge for our business.
When you're talking scaling, are you talking about like scaling your marketing, scaling operations, scaling like
I think scaling customers,
yeah. Mm.
technical wise, we write our products built to scale,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With any software business, it's not hard to build. I mean, because our experience, we've got a good technical team
Mm.
that build our product.
Yeah.
So there's always the growth, the customer growth.
Okay. So you managed to focus on TeamGo for a long, long time and not have like a lot of other different products.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keen to learn about how you manage to stay that focused, or whether there is any plan for you to have like multi products and stuff like that, or is that it does it go back to that focusing, like being able to sort of, because
Yeah,
you stuck. I mean, I
yeah,
remember you back in the early days when you would have 2 to 3 different products
yeah.
going on at the same time, to now um where you are right now, whereby I caught up with you 5 years ago, you're still doing the same thing. I
Yeah,
caught up with you and you're still
yeah,
doing the same thing. Um, stops you from going and building up and say, oh yeah, TeamGo is working now.
yeah,
TeamGo is working now. I've got a team. Because a lot of you hear a lot of all this rhetoric online
mm,
whereby someone says, oh yeah, now I've got that's cash flowing. I've
mm,
got a team running it. Now I can go off and do that.
yeah.
What stopped you from going off and doing this extra thing here versus going down? I want to dig into like what's
Why I keep doing what I'm doing,
yeah,
right?
well, you keep doing what I'm doing. I
Yeah,
mean, I know what it is, but
yeah,
but I guess
yeah,
for a lot of people, once you start, there's always this rhetoric of like, I'm gonna grow a business, get it to a
yeah.
stable point, and then I'll move on and do other things.
Yeah. I
Put
mean,
an operator in place.
I think we all kind of had that mindset at one stage or
Yeah,
another,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, like TeamGo has been through a lot
yeah.
with products. So when we started off, it was just a visitor check-in system,
Mm,
right? Visitor management.
yeah.
Simple, you walk into the reception desk, you get presented with an iPad,
Mm,
you type in your name, you select who you want to see, um, and the host will come and greet you, right? They get a notification and they come and greet you. That is the simplest of our product when we first started, right? But now, you know, with COVID, the pandemic,
yeah.
we've got product that's, you know, look after employee health and safety as well. We've got emergency alerts. So, if say there's a fire in the building, the the component product is allow you to alert all relevant parties who sign in or who when the people who are not sign in about emergencies. We've got a contractor management
Mm,
that help make sure the compliance with documentations and certification before they arrive to do work in your building.
mm,
And we're just about to release a new revamp of our booking system, which allows you to
mm,
book asset, rooms, do pre-approval of the booking, pre-approval of because we do have a lot of customers in defense as well.
uh-huh.
So do pre-approval before any person turn up to your office, like background checks and things like that.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So in in reality, TeamGo is people see TeamGo as just a visitor management, but we've got you know three other products that go on top of TeamGo.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the bookings, contract management, and the emergency alert and compliance.
Mm,
So each of those you can call a startup,
uh,
right? So that's kind of stopped us from going to something else because when you build a business, the one way to grow is scale vertically,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't believe in now that we've been focused on TeamGo. I don't think that doing the horizontal growth, like having
Mm,
other starting other business and would help because as you know, like with anything, it takes a couple of years before it start to be sustainable,
mm,
at least, right?
mm, mm.
So you know, always I have so many ideas, like not visitor management or compliance or
Yeah.
workplace related,
Yeah.
but the ability to like restrain yourself from
Yeah.
doing too many things, like that's hard because
Yeah.
I'm a tech guy. I like to build things. I like to
Yes.
build new product, and
Yes.
sometimes I just go there and do some coding just for fun,
Yeah.
right? So it is hard, but we know we decided to go TeamGo all in and focus on that. So that's what we've been doing, and not getting distracted, because like I said, um, idea comes and go,
Mm,
and you have to validate. You have to with anything, you have to make sure someone's gonna pay for it before you start building things.
yeah.
So try
Yeah.
not to build anything without having customers, anyone committed
Yeah.
to the ideas first, right? So that's why people I do meet friends here in Adelaide. Say, hey, Chai, what you up to? Like TeamGo. It's like, oh, still TeamGo.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's the business keep us busy enough to keep
Ah.
focus.
It makes a lot of sense. So you'd rather just go deep on one thing, keep innovating and building,
Yeah,
adding more things for the existing customer base as
yeah,
opposed to yeah.
and like there's many iteration of our product. I
Yeah.
think we're up to our dashboards up to version 5 now,
Oh wow.
and our so we've got the dashboard component, we've
Yeah.
got the iPad app, and
Okay.
then we've got the TeamGo Pass iPhone app for employees. So it's not one product; it's
Mm.
multiple product that works together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, TeamGo is more than just a VMS product. Yeah.
It makes sense because it almost feels like the fact that you're innovating within the same vertical, um, you can still keep almost selling different product to the same marketplace as opposed to
Yeah,
what most of us do, where you go off and start a completely new business,
yeah,
and then you have to go and get a whole new set of customers.
yeah.
Well, you could just have innovated and kind of sold the same stuff, or
Sure.
so given your existing customer base more of what they
Yeah, sure.
wanted. Yeah.
And we came up with this product because our customers want them, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
We don't just
absolutely.
build them because, like I said, because it look cool or
Yeah.
things we want to do,
Yeah.
but like there's a real need for it. So that's how we're approaching from beginning, like I said, with the ecosystem as well, the
Mm,
Majoran.
mm.
So we go there and build things that people want.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you see as the future of your business? Like, what are some of the things you're excited about growing and scaling? Like, what are some of the things you're excited about the business at the moment?
Well, I think waking up with challenges is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to be too comfortable. I mean, we had a couple of years of COVID where, couldn't do anything and getting, no one can go anywhere and
Yeah.
getting too comfortable. It motivates me to come to work every day
Mm.
because there's challenge there for me to solve.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, what you're doing is, yeah. So I think, business is still growing.
Yeah.
Um, and there's always opportunities for us to build new products if we wanted to.
Mm.
But at the moment, we've got solid products that we can, help our customers
Mm.
with their problems.
Yeah.
The a lot, in we've got like most of our customers, over 50% are Australian customers, so we
Yeah.
still see opportunities to crack in other market as well. Being a startup from Adelaide, how hard it is to be able to scale to other countries.
Yeah.
So I think our future is looking more toward the US,
Yeah.
trying to scale our business in the US with our visitor management component of it,
Yeah.
and see how we go from there. At the moment, we're not pushing the US at all. So this is our plan for next is just working on growing and scaling to the United States.
Is there is moving, relocating, even for a temporary basis in the cards, or you
Uh,
reckon you can scale it from here? I think
yeah,
what I'm interested to learn is, I guess, your approach to international markets and the path to market, the your go to market strategy for
mm.
some of these things. Has it been more like it just happened that you find yourself in this market, or has it been like a very deliberate effort to target those markets for yourself, or that's something that you're in the thick of?
I think it has to be deliberate.
Yeah.
We were lucky to have customers all over the world at the moment
Yeah.
through either word of mouth
Okay.
or companies who use our product in Australia and then have other branches, other countries,
Mm.
and then they implement our product in
Mm.
those countries because our product's very scalable.
Mm.
But like I think um, moving
Mm.
wise, probably not. We
Mm.
are working and getting partners
Oh,
in
okay.
those countries
Okay.
because our product can be white label,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Okay.
So we do have white label partners
Okay.
that
Okay.
sell our product under their own brand.
That's very good.
So we we are looking for partners in the US and UK to sell our product under their own brand. So
Ah.
companies like IT service providers,
Ah.
security companies, um, traditional business who do non-software related,
Okay.
really that who
Okay.
has existing customer base who want to grow their revenue
Yeah.
through an add-on to their service or product. That's why we want to come in and help them grow. because like I
Okay.
said, there's huge opportunity there in that space.
It is a huge opportunity because if you think if you think of one of the fastest growing CRM products in the market right now is high level.
Yeah, yeah,
And pretty much their only growth engine is getting agencies to resell the product.
yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about because I'm one of them.
yeah,
I'm a reseller,
yeah,
and I think that's just allowed them to just really focus on just product and innovation, and that's why they're able to ship features faster than pretty much anyone else because they don't have to do a lot of the marketing. Someone else does all the
hmm
marketing for them. So yeah, it's a very very interesting interesting model. Um, I wanted to, as we start to sort of go towards the end, you've kind of gone through from being a founder to now at a point in time whereby you've started dipping your toe in investing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How has that transition been, and how has the process been for you? I guess evaluating different deals to sort of see
Yeah,
what it is that you find suitable.
yeah,
How do you go finding these deals?
yeah,
And how do you decide that yeah, it's a good deal? I'm gonna punt or
yeah.
put some or
Look,
invest in that one. Yeah, yeah,
I wouldn't recommend anyone listen to me for regarding investing
yeah,
purposes.
yeah,
How I approach investment is basically through my gut instinct.
yes,
Um, I put money into startup because I want to help.
yep,
Uh, it's not, and look, I look at opportunities through if I believe the founders
yep,
uh, is able to execute. Um, we did invest in quite a few companies that didn't work out,
mm,
right? Well, that startup, you
yeah,
gotta, you, if you have money to lose, then yeah,
yeah,
you invest in startup. Don't
yeah,
don't put the money in if you think you're gonna 10x or 100x. But like that's my philosophy. I just want to help out. I want to see people who think I can help in putting the money in. Then and if it's have the synergy there, then yeah. But like a lot of my deals comes through um, just people I know.
yeah,
Um, so let's startup in Adelaide. We've got quite a few startup here that I see there's potential to grow. Um, when we were doing during South Start, our goal was to help business to scale and find market and find opportunities and connecting with investors. Uh, so we've I think everyone um, sort of have that resource available now,
mm,
and they can connect to other interstate. Start coming up in May this year, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's coming up soon. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think there's gonna be a lot of investors coming from interstates and overseas, and people can connect through to that.
yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't take my advice on
Right.
investing because
That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Now sitting on this side of the seat,
mm,
whereby you've gone through, started something, and
mm,
seen it through for this long, like
yeah,
managed to stick it out for this thing.
yeah,
Um, what are some of the things you're finding? What if you have to sit down with a founder that is kind of going through that initial process of
mm,
product market fit
mm,
or trying to think of how to scale this thing? If you have to sort of tap on the shoulder and say, Mike, let me tell you some of the things. Let me tell you
mm,
how the next 10 years are going to be like. What are some of
yeah,
the things you would what are some of the lessons or some of the word of it could either be more encouraging lessons but
mm,
also some sort of cautionary advice that
yeah,
you'd suggest to them to think about as they start to grow their technology business, because I guess nowadays the bar of entry for technology companies
mm,
is a lot more lower than when you and I would have been
yeah,
back in the other
yeah,
days. If you, I mean, nowadays coding, you can even have like all these assistants that can help you code,
yeah,
and there's all these tools that can help you like build something and prototype something quickly and go to market quicker. So there is definitely a smaller bar to market for them than we would have had. Um, so they obviously there will be a temptation to sort of say, oh yeah, this is easy,
yeah.
I can do this, or maybe some people got in there and find out that it's actually not that easy as they thought.
Yeah.
Well, what's some of the advice you can pass on to someone based on what you've learned from the process?
look, I've learned a lot of what not to do.
Yes.
Right? I think
Yes.
we all, being 10 plus years in the business, there's a lot of things that I wish I hadn't done.
Yeah.
And
What is it that you should avoid doing?
look, I think um, hiring is probably the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
You can finding the right kind of people,
Mm.
um, especially the talent pool here, especially in sales and marketing in Adelaide.
Yeah.
I probably would say Australia in general, it's not that great, especially when it comes to software. So the challenge is always how do you get the people with the right skills and experience
Mm.
to help you with a SaaS type of business? Because there's not many people who know SaaS in Adelaide, right?
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, you can find people who do traditional marketing, that, but to get an experienced person to help you grow in a software business is hard in Adelaide.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think our challenge, like I said, is always find the right people, and might sound cruel, but if it doesn't work, you gotta let them go pretty
Yeah.
quickly, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that probably my biggest advice. Just make
Yeah.
sure you get the right growth team on board.
Okay.
Product wise,
Mm.
a lot of people tend sort of want to build the all, you know, like a what's it called, all in one product,
Yeah.
that does everything.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just build something that solves one problem,
Yeah.
and then you keep iterating and build and solve the next problem. Don't have a bloated product with all the features and functionalities that no one gonna use.
Mm.
Right? That's like being a product built by developers like myself. We sort of tempted to build these cool features and do everything, but I don't know. The customers just want a simple click to do their thing, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to build a bloated product. So just keep it minimal,
Yeah.
keep it simple, and that's what the customers need to do to accomplish their
Mm.
requirements, right?
Mm. If you had to sort of adjust someone's expectations of what it's like to be, because a lot of people come to this thing with a lot of different expectations,
Yeah,
and it's all
like
about.
you build a startup and you make $1 million in a couple of years. That what you're
You're gonna
talking
make $1
about?
million, then you're
Yeah,
gonna
get all
get
investors'
acquired.
money. Yeah, get
Exactly,
acquired.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
If you have to sort of sit down with someone who's like, "My, let me adjust your expectations."
Do you have a
Uh,
number of like how many failed startup
yeah,
are there? Is it what's 95% of startup
95%,
fail?
95%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, don't like you don't expect to fail,
yes,
but I reckon you should expect to fail.
yeah,
When you start a startup, expect to fail.
yeah,
But you work in a way that it's put you on guard, right? If you go in there, put your guards up and do things and um, methodologically working through your problem,
yeah,
and persevering. Like first couple of years is really hard, right? So expect to put in a lot of work, a lot of hours. Um, don't expect to hang out with your friends
yeah,
for sure. They will come back.
yeah.
Trust
They'll
me, they
come
will
back.
come back.
They'll come back.
Um, but it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
You run away from not working for other people, but now they say you quit a 9 to 5 job,
yeah,
40-hour weeks
yeah,
to do 75 hours a week. That's what it was like for me
yeah,
in the first few years at least, right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
So that's to be expected.
yeah,
Look, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's not even counted as work.
yeah,
To me, what a lot of hours I spent
yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't feel like I was working. I was like, doing things I enjoy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
We've given them all the negative side and telling them about the cautionary tale. What has been the I guess the upside for you from having a software business as opposed to like a, because you've tried different business models.
Mm,
You've had an agency and
mm,
now you have
mm,
a software business.
yeah.
What have you find as the biggest upside for you in terms of the benefit, in terms of like, yeah, yes, sure, there's all the problems, but then these are also the exciting part of it.
Well, upside is always money, right?
Yeah,
Always
of course,
income.
of
And like,
course, of
that's a
course.
given, right?
Yes.
But I think it's the freedom. You
Yeah.
know, it's a freedom to be able to do what you want. And like I've got 2 young kids, and
Yes.
that give me the opportunities to hang out. I work when they sleep,
Yeah.
right? So that I've got that freedom to pick them up from schools and drop them off, and yeah, it's just give you that flexibility to be
Mm.
able to live your life as well
Yeah.
as working on your business.
Yeah.
So that's what sort of the most rewarding part is, because my kid's turning 10 this
Yeah.
month actually. So
Yeah.
you know it's almost like I'm doing my startup TeamGo, and then also another startup, which is my 2 kids
Yeah. Yeah.
at the same time. So uh, yeah, you gotta you gotta enjoy that.
Yeah. As we come to an end, I wanted to get your take on, like, if you weren't doing Team Go right now,
Yeah.
right? Um, what are some of the exciting things you're seeing in terms of like the startup or inside of software business ideas,
Mhm.
whether it could be something to do with AI,
Yeah.
the new buzzword, or
Yeah.
or vice or anything else. I mean, if you these days everything is AI powered now.
Yeah.
If you are doing Team Go, what are some of the things you potentially look at and think, oh yeah, and that could be maybe even you putting your investor hat on and saying, oh, I could probably do that if I had the time. I could probably look at that if I had the time, or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Any what do you
Well,
wanna rapid
well,
fire a few
yeah.
ideas that you're thinking that
I
you
mean,
look at?
yeah.
Mm.
Like the last investment I put in was an AI company,
Yeah.
and I've also put in some resource into another AI related business. So AI probably the thing that should get into.
Yeah.
With AI, you either the user of technology or you the creator,
Yeah.
like or you provide products that relate to AI to
Mm.
other people.
Mm.
So like with any new technology, if you don't build with it, you're
Yeah.
gonna pay someone to use it, right? So if I weren't doing TeamGo,
Yeah.
I'll probably start an AI related
Okay. Okay.
business
Okay.
that solve, because automations, the future is AI,
Yeah.
right? You can use AI to build automation for any sort of business process, from bartending to, if you're talking to hospitality, um, receptionist even, right?
Yeah.
Um, AI will replace a lot of job. Will yeah, it's not a bad thing in my view.
Yeah.
You, there's one industry disrupted and will create other opportunities for different job in
Mm.
related industry. So I think AI would be a business I would get into.
Okay. Any particular factions of AI type thing, or
Automation, yeah.
anything to do with
So yeah,
automation?
but I would you know my thing is like robotic,
Yeah.
uh, building some sort of robotic
Okay.
instrument,
Okay.
um, or I enjoy following the stories about TikTok getting shut down and all
Yeah.
the algorithm and all that, you know the ability to build an AI that TikTok has done that
Yeah. Okay.
surpasses all the competitors.
Okay.
Um, and if I were able to get into that space of building something that's smart enough to help um, solve real world issue. Um, like you got ChatGPT that kind of answer all your question, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sure there's things you can do there to help everyday people with their problem, not just creating images. Like I'm not
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
putting in a prompt and like create this. Like I believe the artistic work should be done by human,
Yeah.
but like there are other things you can do with AI that
Yep.
help solve real world problem. Poverty, like
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunities there. I don't think there's I don't think there's a limit to that. What you
There's
can
not,
do.
there's definitely not a
Yeah,
limit to that. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Chai. I really appreciate you coming to the pod.
Yeah,
And
great.
where can people find you? Where can people find you? How can
All
people
right.
connect
Yeah,
with
you
you?
can find me on LinkedIn
Yeah,
at Chai Chhai.
yeah,
Or you get me on uh, Facebook, Instagram. Just search for Chai Thach.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
on our company website,
yeah.
teamgo.co.
Awesome.
So yeah, thanks for having me, John.
Thank you, Chai.
Appreciate it.
Cool.